Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. Retiring early. I don't think I understood the power of it until I actually pulled the trigger and did it. While we're working, most of us have about 4 or 5 hours a day that belong to us. When you retire, you actually get back your time. You don't have your commute. You don't have the time at work. You don't have the time to get ready for work. You don't have the unwind time. You literally get 15 or so hours back every day when you retire. So every time we move the goalpost and we think, I'm going to work one more year, like this rock going around the sun one more time is going to make a difference, we're losing that extra time. Not just that year, but we multiply our time when we're retired. I have 15 hours a day, every day to do whatever I want, where when I was working, 4 or 5 if I was lucky. So I'm always curious, why do people move the goalpost? I could have retired 4 years before I did. I had enough passive income to do it. I liked my job, I think, is why I stayed. But now that I'm looking back, if I tripled my time and I worked 4 more years, I lost 12 years of retirement. That's quick math from Matt. That's who does that. So what I have today is my 2 friends, Matt, the lumberjack landlord, and Millennial Mike, both investors, both with portfolios that are still growing, both, I'm going to try to say this without flinching, with W-2 jobs. I think I did it.
Good job.
And I get it, Mike, you have been investing since 2018. You're still growing your portfolio. I'm not sure if you're enough past your freedom number yet to pull the trigger. But I'm going to ask you guys first, and we'll start with you first, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have some valid reasons for delaying retirement.
Sure.
But when those valid reasons are taken care of, what do you think is the main reason people, not just you, but people keep moving the goalpost and continue to work?
Well, I mean, I think that we're all conditioned, right? If you've had a W-2 for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I think we're all conditioned. You know, we get to that point where it's kind of like, all right, so I'm going to solely depend on my ability to create wealth. Well, I've got the investment properties. Yeah, but it's really all on me. There's no safety net. Yeah. Yep. Well, I've got some savings too. Yeah, but what if? And so there's always that, process of everybody very much, they're conditioned, even as teenagers, very often they're conditioned to be workers and be good workers. And then if it's even harder, if it's more than a job and it's a career. For me, when I stopped working, I've been working in high tech for 25 years. And it seems counterintuitive because I spent 25 years building a reputation, building a name, building what I've built as my career. And it seems counterintuitive to quit in the middle of my best earning years. 45 to 55 are usually your best earning years as an executive in most cases, unless you're a very large company and very high up, kind of 55 to 65. But yeah, your best earning years are usually 45 to 55 in my tasks. And I'm saying, so I'm 45, it's time to quit. And that's where, for me, I think that's where people move those goalposts, is that they're conditioned they get used to the non-lumpiness and the guaranteedness of that paycheck just showing up. And I think the other big part is healthcare. Healthcare is a big portion of it too, because it's not, for us, we have requirements that are different from most people's, but for us, healthcare is going to be a significant expense. And we're just going to steal a page out of the Dion book, which is you just have an asset that makes enough money that pays for that thing.
I can see how people feel that there's security in having that W-2. But as we're coming into a recession, the people with a W-2 are the ones I'm concerned about the most.
Oh, for sure.
Right. With just a W-2.
Right. With just a W-2, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Mike, being a first responder, knowing that you associate a lot of who you are with your job, right? You don't get to be on the SWAT team because you're just good at your job. It took passion and drive to go through all the things it took to get on that team. When you're ready, do you think you're going to come up with excuses to kick the can down the road even further?
Maybe. I guess I couldn't say 100% for sure. But you know what? To the first part of your statement where you said associating a lot of who you are with your job, I've actually always disliked police officers who cannot go home and not have their entire life be, I'm a cop. Like I love it when people say, "You're a police officer?" Really? I would have never guessed. I take that as a compliment. Like, I don't want my personality to be, like the guy who's wearing 511s at the grocery store with his like sunglasses on, but like I want to be a regular person. Now, will it be very hard for me to give up something like SWAT? Yes, but that's a little bit different than I think what most people go through, because what people don't understand when you're on a special team like that, it's special weapons and tactics team like that, when you have to put yourself in a situation where you could very realistically be killed, or have someone, and I gotta be careful with YouTube, point something at you and pull the trigger, and that could be it. You might get your card punched at any random time. Like the bond, the friendship, the brotherhood, the love that you feel towards those people, it's hard to give up. It's how soldiers, do 10 tours in Afghanistan, because they just feel like, if you don't know much about Chris Kyle, he had to go back. He had to go back because he felt like if he wasn't there, people weren't going to be saved. So to give up that is harder than, I think, giving up your cubicle 9-to-5 job. So I have no problem when I think about retiring and getting to financial freedom, piecing out, popping smoke, and bouncing. But the thing that will be the hardest will be to give up the relationship, the aspect of being there with the team, the fact that I know what I'm doing and I want to be there to help and protect other people. That will be hard to give up. Will I make excuses? At the end of the day, the reason I want to retire early is so I can spend more time with my son. 6 years old now. I'm just trying to get done before he's 9 or 10. Then I get a good 8 years of all of the sports, all of the teenage years, all of the camping, all of the going to the range. And yeah, am I going to miss it? Sure. But is it going to be an easy choice for me? Oh, yeah.
I think you really point out an important point. My kids are older. They've moved out. And I retired at 52. And I'm just realizing the time multiplier. Right. That amount of time every day. And two things that shocked me. One, everybody talks about the day of the week doesn't matter. Zuber says every day is Saturday. The time of day doesn't matter.
Right.
2 a.m, 4 p.m, it's no different. As soon as you can break your mind from the 5 hours or 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day mindset, but you multiply your time with your kids. And to me, that's a great reason not to kick it down the road. I didn't start investing until I was 40, so I didn't really even have the mental capacity or bandwidth to even think of retirement before that. I used to always tell my kids, I'm one of those guys that's going to work until I die. And then luckily found YouTube University and completely changed my path, which is my hope that the people watching this are thinking that retirement is something that happens to old people. You can do it sooner, especially if you think of reasons not to kick it down the road even farther. And there are some valid reasons. We identify with our job. We think that's who we are. The friends and family that you have at your job, this is something you'll learn when you retire. And I'm definitely going to make a video covering the 3 things that were an actual shock to me. I'm going to make that video.
But not today.
Today, the thing that really shocks me is utility. There are so many people that know you right now, Mike, because of your job. They either work with you or somehow want to be associated with somebody that works in that industry, or you're working with agencies that work with your agency. Matt, you have employees that work for you. You have people from other companies who rely on your relationship that you've developed over years. That instantly
gone,
disappears.
Yeah.
And it's like a family that goes away.
Yeah.
You're also going to find out that you provide utility to people in your family. I've had family members reach out and say, here's this thing you did in 2006 that made me hate you. I never brought it up because you were running a truck driving school and you can deliver gravel for us and you can get my friends jobs and you can help me with CDL questions. But now that you don't work there anymore, here's this thing that you did from 15 years ago? Utility.
Interesting.
That's one of the things we give up when we walk away from our job. And if I knew that, I would have done it sooner.
Yeah.
If there are people only interacting with you because of your job, they're not the people that you need in your life.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think that, as I see it, like I've literally tried on retirement. I took my first 2-week vacation I've ever taken in my life. I took this month.
Thanks for the invite, by the way.
Oh, anytime. It was good to have you guys. And it was awesome. I loved it. I think I touched, 3 emails for work when I was gone. And did I come back to a little bit of work and chaos? Yeah, sure, I did. But it means I need to work on my transition plan. because I loved it. I absolutely loved being able to do whatever I wanted, not be needed by anybody except for my kids, and be able to really enjoy that time. So yeah, I know that for me, without a shadow of a doubt, the time is near, because I recognize that for me, I'm ready to move on. And I'm broken. I had to like trial balloon it. Like I had to trial it and like check it out and see it. And I'm in the dressing room of retirement. I'm trying it on and seeing how it feels, making sure my butt doesn't look too fat. Bad news, it does, but we can work on that in retirement.
If somebody wants to reach out with questions, you can find Matt at the lumberjacklandlord.com, and you can find Mike at Millennial Mike here on YouTube and on Instagram. But to help you guys get closer to retirement, I enjoyed meeting in Vegas. That was great. We'll call that a trial run. I need to get you the information and invite you on that cruise that we're going on in September. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.